What is going on, everybody? Anon here, and happy Saturday. It was my daughter's first birthday, so we had a big party here. Super successful. But I want to talk Pokemon for a little bit now that I have everybody sleeping and I have some time. So I've kind of chuckled for the last couple weeks because there's a ton of PokeTubers that it's just gloom and doom thumbnails and folks that are just admittedly saying, "Hey, I made this negative video to get views." And the reason I chuckle is if you need to make 2/10 of a penny off views, and that's what it takes to get by in this world, you should probably get a different job or get a job. Um, the fact that people are just struggling for views right now it's kind of stupid. I mean, I've never looked at this as a way to make money or monetize. It's just kind of informative and it's fun for me. And videos like this one, they just help me keep my mind on the market and keep updated because it's not always easy to follow price changes on boxes. And it's a pretty dynamic market, especially right now, and things move all the time. So I just find it funny. There's a video today or yesterday about a rumored 151 UPC reprint, which isn't true, but yeah, you have people that are posting 3 or 4 videos a day or 15 shorts because they're probably unemployed and they need your views to make ends meet, which I kind of feel bad for them and I wish them luck. But if those are the folks you're listening to, you may want to look in the mirror and rethink things. So that being said, we're going to take a look at the Scarlet and Violet booster box pricing. This is as of today. I pulled this from TCG Player. And we haven't looked at this for about 18 days, so 2.5 weeks now. And the reason I've stretched this out a little bit is, it's kind of forest from the trees at this point because there's some boxes that are just they're not up, they're not down, they're just treading water. And this is kind of what I expect getting into. We're now in probably about a third of the way into summer where people are just checked out. They're out of school. They're not really paying attention and fucking around with things like this. They have family stuff to do and vacations. So, but there's also some things that are going nuts and some things that, they're not going nuts, but they're not going nuts because there was a lot of product that came to market, but they're pretty resilient. So this is the way I look at, this is a way that I personally gauge market strength because, singles are all over the place, right? I don't really play the singles game, just never have, never enjoy the gamble. I prefer investing in certainties, and unless the world changes and something happens that has never happened before, it is an absolute certainty that every one of these booster boxes at some point in the future is going to be worth more than what it is now. That's just the way everything for Pokemon has ever been as of right now. And that's going on for almost 30 years. I'm happy with that. I think that's enough of a sample size to be statistically significant for me. So anyway, SV base, continues to tread water here. Not a whole lot of movement. What's interesting is the average sales over the last 30 days has taken a step back on a lot of these. Now it's the last 30 days. So basically the month of June. So the first month where, we should all expect things to really soften up. So we're probably going to see the same stuff for July, the same stuff for August. The other thing I do want to point out is that there are no TCG player sales. So this excludes the Mayhem sale from TCG player. And since these sales are from TCG player and there's no incentive in here, there's no incentive. This is normalized market conditions. And quite honestly, for a booster box that's 2.5 years old or whatever SV base is, I think it's early 2023. So yeah, damn close to 2.5. 2 boxes a day, I'm okay with that because that means probably across all platforms, you're looking at 50 boxes, maybe. Because, TCG player, in my estimation, at least from the analysis I did on the Final Fantasy set for Magic, and again, this is 3 degrees of separation because now you're talking about another game and an ancillary IP. I just try to impute what the total market share of TCG player is, and it comes out to like 1.2%. So Here it's probably higher. It's probably 5%, but either way, it's between 1 and 5%. And we'll just leave it at that. So, 20 times 2, or yeah. Yeah, so twenty times 2 is 40 boxes. Um, 100 times 2 is obviously 200 boxes. So if we assume 50 boxes, that's a lot of product that's moving. So moving on, Paldea Evolved going absolutely batshit crazy. And I think this is a little bit of hype driven, and we're going to see the same with Twilight Masquerade. People are just buying the boxes because the boxes are going up. And, we did see, and, you're down to 5 sales from 9 and 11. But again, these include the Mayhem, or at least this one includes the Mayhem sale. We have gotten booster bundles through distro this past week of Paldea Evolved in Obsidian Flames. Now, I will admit, nobody's called me up and offered me a case. So there is not that much that's going out. It's just being spread incredibly thin. I don't know where it came from. It's a bizarre amount. So there is some product coming out. I don't think it's a red flag. I don't think it's a tell. I think it is what it is. So, and the 3 distros that have offered it all tended to think it was an exclusive to them, which is even more bizarre. So I don't know if all the distributors are so pissed off at Pokemon's trying to make them feel well or feel good by telling them that, hey, we're going to give you this product, it's only coming to you, and just assume they don't talk, which is whatever. But Obsidian Flames, not much movement here, down to 2 boxes. Paradox, a bunch of this has come to market, I've seen, and a couple stores have tried to move a significant amount, and I don't think it's because of its Paradox Rift itself. I just think it's because 210's a good price based on what they paid for it. They probably paid 85, 87 for it back in October. I think they're just trying to liquidate and kind of move on because it's time. The inventory's been sitting for a while. It's effectively a 2x plus, and why the hell not? So moving on to Paradox, Temporal. Temporal remains really strong at 220, and now there's only 2 boxes selling. I could very easily see Temporal being the next one that takes off and starts to approach $300, and it's for no reason other than there's just not that much supply out there. I like the set. I think it's a fun set. There's no super banger cards. You have the Raging Bolt and Iron Thorns. I don't know. Whatever. But there's a couple decent cards in there. But again, you look at some of these, it's just Obsidian Flames. It's based on the rarity. It's not really based on the value of the set. And the Temporal Forces set, I think, is approaching $700 of EV. So it's a decent set to open. Twilight Masquerade, 287. This is going absolutely crazy. Now, I think there was a buyout of this. I think there's also a buyout of Paldea, which has driven this up a little bit. I wouldn't buy either one of the sets here because Twilight Masquerade is not even a year old. Or is it? It might just barely be a year old now. But it's still in the reprint window. Paldea Evolved is much closer to being out, but at these prices, I just think there's going to be much better opportunities coming up with the next sets to get much better entry points on, especially based on what we're seeing now. 3 boxes per day selling. Stellar Crown 215, no move there. 4 boxes a day selling. This one's interesting because there's not a whole lot going on in movement with the set now that it's at 215. No rumors of more product coming to market. This could very well be the one set that doesn't get a reprint. Maybe this in Temporal, given everything going on. But we'll see. Oh, by the way, getting back to the 151 UPC clown show, there has been a confirmed. Let me rephrase that. Not a publicly confirmed, but there is a confirmed ultra premium collection that's going to come out in October, November. If you guys recall, we had the Terapagos that came out last year. I believe it was the end of October. Obviously, it followed right behind Stellar Crown. Now, what I don't know is I don't know if it's going to be Prismatic Evolutions themed or if it's going to be Mega Evolutions 1 themed. So that remains to be seen, but it has been confirmed. The orders from the notice to distributors in certain countries has gone out. So that's going to be a thing, but it's not going to be 151, at least not the original UPC. It could be a different iteration of it, but it's not going to be the one from 2 years ago. So Surging Sparks, 228. Again, we just got a bunch of product on the market. We're now at reprint number 3. This set's still at $228 a box. If that doesn't scream resilient as fuck, you should probably look at a different hobby. These boxes are going to scream. Just not quite yet. And by the way, now they're getting close to 9 months old. And 15 boxes a day selling, it's a ton of sell-through. I mean, it's selling the same as what Journey is. And by the way, Journey's starting to creep up a little bit. Kind of bounced off that $200 mark. And it's jumping back up. Now, I do think there's going to be a second wave of this that comes out at some point. I don't know the size. And I can't imagine that they threw everything out on the first wave, because with Destined, we're seeing more product coming to market. Booster box case-wise. But with Journey, there have been some sales at 161 on eBay from P Football Pete. That is a pretty damn good entry point. Now, it could be dead money for a year, but I kind of look at this one a little bit like Stellar Crown. Probably a little bit of a better quality set. Same set size. Obviously, the set was received much more strongly than Stellar Crown because we're in a completely different world. But if you could buy booster boxes at this point at 161, in my view, that's a fantastic entry point, because it's probably not going to get much better than that for these sets going backwards. Now, going forward, again, subject to change. I've told you guys my opinion probably 2 months ago. MEO1, in my view, is probably going to have a much larger print run. But the good news is we're going to find out in the next month. So we'll report on it. Destined Rivals, 245. It's continued to move down slowly, but the sell-through rate continues to be super strong. 86 boxes a day at $250 a box. I mean, that is an assload of fucking dollars. And if you haven't looked, I did a video 2 nights ago or last night, and the Destined Rival set's still holding strong, right around $2,000 per. The Mewtwo in raw near mint is at $400, and I don't want to say this is a tell, but I know at least Dave and Adams sent a distribution email with buy list of the PSA 10s at like $1,100 on that card. So that tells me that they have a lot of demand, and they sure as hell don't think it's going to go down, because they're not in the business of losing money. So those are actual facts from the market that a lot of the folks here just begging for clicks don't have. And if you're not sure, you can go to David Adams or Adam and Dave's, whatever it is, and click on buy list. It's number 1. So moving to ETBs, 151 still sitting at 250, 3 selling per day. Paldean Fate's up again, 23. I know there was a buyout of these. By the way, I have Paldean Fate's 3-pack tech sticker cases, and it is 12 3-pack blisters per case, and I'm going to be selling here shortly. I only have 42 cases. I'm trying to figure out the best price to sell them at, because they just don't exist in the market. And we'll see where I settle at. But I tend to get some of these weird. They're really unique, but they're really collectible items that we sell through Discord. And sometimes they're hits, sometimes they're not. But I think with Paldean Fates rotating out, something like clean sealed cases of tech sticker collections, when I think there's a total of like 30 tech stickers across all 3 iterations that are even for sale. It's super interesting. So anyway, check out Discord if you have any interest, and just PM me. So change 23, 4 selling a day. Shrouded Fable, here's the big daddy. I say that semi-facetiously. I may make a play on this at some point this week when I find out what I'm getting for Edge of Eternities. Um, the beauty of Edge of Eternities is I'm going to get somewhere between um, low six figures and middle six fingers. Yeah, six figures. And I have no idea where it's going to be because nobody in distribution has any idea what these allocations are going to look like. So if I'm on the low end, I'm probably going to import a bunch. If I'm on the high end, I'm probably not going to touch them. But I think, $70 they're moving and 11 a day, but there were only 108 listed on TCG Player. For the longest time, there were 800, 900, 1,000. And, there's a big tranche of product that TCG, Trading Card World had out there that I think they've eaten through and sold through. And by the way, they sold me a bunch, which was awesome a long time ago. So I think this is at the point where it's really going to start to move. And I mean, this could double by next year at this time. And between this and Prismatic, that's probably the only two products on here that I could see doubling by next year at this time, to be quite honest. I mean, unless, Obsidian or Paradox rotates out or, 151 rotates out and we get no other ETBs and that goes nuts. But I thought that was interesting. Prismatic Evolutions bouncing back, was sub 100, now it's at 110. 50-day moving. I mean, this is so undervalued based on the set value. It is what it is. Moving to black and white. Again, did a video of what I think the true intrinsic value of these products is. Now, it's going to sell for less than this because people are going to dump it on the market since their base is going to be like $35. They're going to say, fuck you. If I get $80 or $100 or $200, I don't really care. I'll take 80 all day long because that's how stores are. I mean, TCG stores are not sophisticated financial institutions, and they'll sell for low dollar because they see extra dollars to make. We're down to 128 for black, 117 for white. I didn't even pull the sales because, quite honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So what this tells me is that we're in summer, which we are. And things have started to slow down. But Paldea Evolved, Twilight Masquerade, they're zooming. Stellar Crown hasn't taken a step backwards. Neither has Paradox, Temporal, Obsidian, or SV Base. They're not taking a breather, which is exactly what we want to see in a bull market. Surging took a little bit of step back because there was a bunch of product that came to market. Destin is a new release. You expect a slight trend down. Plus, there is more product coming to market. It's not a lot, but it's to the point where I'm getting tens of cases from distribution, and then Journey Together, it's rebounding, which is really strong to see. And you see Prismatic, Shrouded, Paldean Fates all moving in the right direction. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen 151 push up from the 250 mark, but I think we're going to as time passes. And look, I think there's a lot of this is going to sound terrible, but a lot of uneducated folks that just watch PokeTube and they kind of take it for face value, and they get a little spooked when, because remember, I mean, all the PokeTubers, including myself, I can say whatever I want with absolutely no recourse. Now I don't because I have, some pretty deep distribution relationships, but a lot of these folks don't, so they can say whatever they want to get views, and there's no recourse. But I think generally speaking, a lot of folks take it at face value and they act on it, which is, it's unfortunate, but just know that there's only a handful of us that have distribution, and I'm not sure anybody other than, and I'm not patting myself on the back, anybody other than me that has more than 3 distributors. Now, I know a couple folks have been trying to add, which is great. I mean, they should have added when things were tight, but that's where you get the information from. It's not from one distributor, not from 2. You have to triangulate what you hear from everybody, because every rep that you have is at a different level, and the communication within each distribution entity is different. Some are siloed, some are flat, some share information immediately, some hold product back and they only leak it out to certain folks. So, it's a little bit of a, I don't want to say a game, but it's a jigsaw puzzle where you get pieces from different distributors and different reps. And once you learn kind of how things work behind the scenes, you just put everything together and it allows you to make a more educated decision on what the market really is. And you're not going to get that from most people, from really anybody in PokeTube, because they're just looking for views and just, spamming some bullshit. So anyway, guys, hopefully you liked the video. Subscribe, and join the Discord again. We're going to have that Paldean Fates tech sticker sale coming up shortly. And I also have Astral Radiance 3-pack sticker cases. Now, those are, 3-pack blister cases. Those are 24 per. And I have no idea how to price those yet. But I have a lot of those coming. Probably the only place to get those, because I know they're not for sale anywhere as far as I saw. But anyway, just offering that up. So anyway, guys, have a great night.